Welcome back. The Viltrox 24mm F1.8 was released, if I'm not wrong, 3 or 4 years ago. And in my case, I have the Sony E-mount version. Now, you don't see the lens in my hands because it's recording me right now over there, and that's where I want to start. This lens has been reviewed, and after the initial, like when the manufacturer sends the lens out for review, I haven't seen anything from like updated reviews and stuff like that on this lens. And I believe this lens deserves way more attention than it's getting, because even after 3 or 4 years from its launch, for the price that it's sold at, which is approximately $400, maybe a little bit more, it gives you a lot of performance out of a pretty much compact and lightweight lens, which happens to be built very well, especially if you're doing video. If you have followed this channel in the last 6 or 7 months since I got this lens, chances are that you've seen a lot of videos that were recorded with this lens, because this lens was the lens that I used for the most part to record myself in this environment. And in this environment, this lens performed extraordinarily well. There's basically no focus breathing you're seeing right now. Focus breathing is almost non-existent, and that for a video lens is pretty impressive, especially in this price range, especially considering that this is a third-party lens and it wasn't even part of their best lenses lineup. So very good performance over there, very nice focus transitions, very smooth going front to back. And again, you're seeing how smooth it all is. And it's really crazy to think that we spend thousands and thousands of dollars in lenses that are always being perfected, and now Sony has that focus breathing compensation, a lot of electronic stuff to control these kind of things. This lens doesn't even have profiles, as far as I can tell, because you see it bows over here. And so you don't have profile correction in the lens, but the lens is very well corrected optically when it comes to the focus breathing. So for me, if you're looking for a wide-angle, bright aperture lens that you're going to use for video, and you're not going to use it in an environment where there's a lot of straight lines that are going to show that barrel distortion, this lens is a very good option. But not only for that, this has been my lens. When I bought into the Sony system, I wanted something small and compact, and I purchased this lens together with the Samyang 45mm F1.8. Let me know if you want a video on that in the comments below, to have something very compact, easy to use, lightweight, that didn't really break my back or my bank account, which was already broken back then. And I've carried those lenses around. I've been shooting a lot of stuff with those lenses, and specifically with this lens, I shot not landscape, like professional landscape. I still prefer zooms. They are way more versatile than a lens like this, but you can shoot street photography. You can shoot the environment that you have around you. I shot a professional birthday party. I shot a lot of stuff with this lens. Of course, you use it with your family, you use it while you're on vacation. And every time I've used this lens, I never felt like I was let down. It is sharp already at 1.8 in the center, and corners are not bad. Usually this type of lenses in the corners, they completely fall apart wide open. This one doesn't. As you stop down, the center gets a little bit better until you get to f4, then it's already perfect. And the corners, once you get to f4, f5.6, they are pretty much as good as the center, even on a 61 megapixel sensor, and that says a lot. There's some vignetting that you need to take into account, but again, if you're not looking for perfection, like for that clinical look, you may probably also like the vignetting that you get when this lens is wide open. You also get a little bit of flaring, but not too much. I've seen way worse results with third-party lenses. Sometimes you can find a little bit of chromatic aberration, but you need to look for it. It's not something that is gonna like capture your eye and is gonna distract you. It's not like that. And the bokeh, for as much bokeh as you can get out of a 24 millimeters lens, it's pretty nice. It's progressive. You're not gonna scream as a bokeh master, but it's gonna get you a bokeh that you are definitely going to like. When you're shooting very close, when it's wide open, it suffers a little bit, but it's not as hazy as other lenses. And as you stop down to f2.8 at the minimum focus distance, it's razor sharp. So even good in that regard. So all in all, this lens really outperforms its own price. And if you're looking for a budget 24 millimeters with bright aperture, I don't think you're gonna get better than that on Sony and probably on Nikon as well in comparison with the price. Of course, you're gonna get better lenses. You probably are gonna get. Actually, I haven't heard that great things about Nikon 24 millimeters f1.8, if I'm being completely honest. And I don't even think the Sony is that good either. So this may be your best option in that type of range if you don't want to go with the, in the case of Sony, the G Master 24 f1.4, which is gonna be bigger. It's gonna be way more expensive, and it's gonna definitely break the bank. Even from a construction standpoint, this is supposed to be a budget lens, but it's not budget when it comes to the build quality. Yes, it's not weather sealed, and some may complain about it. I don't. If you've been following this channel, you know that I consider weather sealing a little bit of a over concern. I don't know how to. It's overrated, okay, for the vast majority of people, of course, not for some professional that have to shoot in some terrible scenarios. That is a given. They need to have it. But if you're a normal person and the lens is not weather sealed, who cares? But other than that, this lens is all metal. It gets you an aperture ring, which is not clicked. And for photos, I don't like it that much. But also, I need to say that even if it's not clicked, you need to really want to move it in order to change the aperture. So you're not going to change it accidentally that easily. And for video, it may help. I don't use that feature that often, so it doesn't really bother me, but it's there if you want to use it, fine. You get a USB-C port on the back to update the firmware, and the firmware has been updated since the moment it got launched to address some autofocusing issues that it had at launch. You don't have any autofocusing issue right now. I felt like this lens has been pretty reliable in the autofocusing department as well. So I really don't have that many complaints for the price of the lens. Now, for me personally, by the time you're seeing this video, I have probably gotten rid of this lens for a couple of specific reasons that I will address partially in another video. Reason number one is this lens that I have over here. I'm not gonna make any spoiler. I already used it on the channel to record myself, but this is one of the reasons I'm not gonna use this lens anymore. And because this lens, I'm gonna be swapping it with another lens that I'm gonna talk to you about in another video. But if I didn't have this intent of trying new lenses, willing to keep expanding my knowledge of all of that and bringing you content and stuff like that, this lens would have been my go-to studio recording lens because it's the perfect focal length. It performs really well when it comes to video, when it comes to autofocus, when it comes to focus breathing, when it comes to overall look. I really like it a lot. It's not super contrasty, but it's good. It's got good contrast. It's a really good lens. So in conclusion, for me, this lens is highly recommended, especially if you're on a budget and you're looking for a 24 millimeters with a decent aperture. You're not gonna get any better than this at this price point. If you can get it used, even better. There's some that you can find here and there. I definitely recommend you to try it out if you're curious, because it's not gonna let you down. And I already mentioned that I'm gonna get rid of this lens, but as I'm talking to you, I may be changing my mind. Stay tuned. I'll let you know, maybe in the comments below. But let me know in the comments whether you have this lens, you tried this lens. If you're curious about this lens, let me know what you want to know. Because for me, it may be a very good lens. For you, it may not be. Or you may have some questions that you want answered before investing your hard-earned money. That's it for today. I just wanted to give you this look at this lens that it's often overlooked before I got rid of it, because I thought it deserved it, and it's been my close friend for the last 6-7 months since I got into the Sony ecosystem. And again, this lens deserved a little bit of a spotlight, even in 2025. Thank you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.